Hey, 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 welcome to day number 9, video number 10 in the series of 21 Days of Prayer for Your Business. Today we are talking about embracing excellence. Okay, brace yourself.
It's a good one.
Oh my word, as I was reading over this morning, I was thinking, I need this in my life. And it is something that I majorly struggle with. And I don't know if you're like me, but when I think of excellence, I can easily get it confused with perfectionism. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Today, we're going to kind of hone into the excellence kind of part of it all. But man, every single word I'm reading, and I think I even laughed out loud a couple of times and was like, oh my, I need this, and I need it right now. I was telling my friend Natalie this morning, she was asking how the videos were going, and she's my best friend, and I was like, they're going great. And I said, it's super interesting that every single day, the topic is really revolving around something that we're specifically walking out in our life right now in this season. Whether it's, I don't see a big picture, but seeing one step in front of the other, letting the Lord just guide our each step. And this, embracing excellence, I specifically have said this past week that, there's areas where I'm not embracing excellence because I am trying to do it all, or, you know what I'm saying? And so this particular day has really hit home with me. If you've got the book, then if you've already gone through it, maybe it's something that hit home with you. If you don't have the book, it's okay. Just join along our conversations. I will drop a link in the description where you can get the book if you would like it. There's also a place that you can download chapters 1 in the intro if you'd want a peek of kind of like what we talk about and what we do. I get nosy Rosie and get up in your business and ask a lot of questions, and I do that again today. So I would love for you to have a journal and a pen to where in our conversation, as I'm asking some things, I want it to be something that you apply to your life, that you don't just listen to stories that we tell of how it pertains to our own personal life, but we want you to tailor make this to you and your season of wherever you're at. Whether you're applying this to your business, honestly, embracing excellence is involved in every aspect of our lives, our relationships, our parenting, our marriage, our business, whatever, that you have. So today, it might be a little painful for you. It was a little painful for me, but pain is good because it helps us grow and stretch really into who we are supposed to be and who we need to be. Okay, so the first question, let me grab my glasses because I cannot see. I'm just going to read this out. It says, good or best. Remember earlier when we talked about being intentional with our values? So if you've not watched those videos, I believe we talk about it in how we are uniquely made. And we talk about being intentional with our values, the things that are super important to us. You listed out things that were important to you and things that were time wasters. I think we also talked about that in Be Intentional. So it was like you are uniquely made and be intentional. So if you haven't watched that video or gone through that part of the study, I would love for you to think on the things that are very important to you. What are things that are valuable? If you've done your homework, which I know you have if you've watched those videos, go back and reference that. Look at those things. What are some things that were very important to you that were your values? We have to say no to time wasters, but we also have to say no to things that may be good. Good is not always the best. We can spin a million plates and be average, or we can pick a few and spin them with excellence. Let's begin by making sure we embrace our values with excellence in all we do. If you don't mind, list out your values again. And below, or in your notebook if you don't have the book, what things do you want to make sure you embrace with excellence in your life and business? And I want to pause right here and just discuss this with us in our current life and the season that we're in. This is what I have been stopping and asking myself. And while I joke around that it may be painful, I think it's pretty cool that I have been making hard decisions and saying no to things so I can say yes to others. And it's been painful in making that, but I think that's growth in that I've been recognizing and doing it.
I think it was Warren Buffett they asked him what the secret to success was, and he said saying no to almost everything. So, which is hard.
It is. It's hard when, especially you're this big dreamer or, a big visionary. And even if you don't feel like you're a big dreamer or a big visionary, think about the times where you've got this gift of hospitality or helping. Maybe you're the one who always is saying yes to every function, every party, every get-together, every insert whatever. There can be a line that you cross where it's good. It's good to have those things and to do all of that, but if it crosses the line to where it's sucking the life out of you and the energy out of you, I think you're falling into that trying to be perfect, which we're going to talk about tomorrow, and it's not allowing you to embrace the things that are important to you with excellence.
It's so interesting though, because it's like you can't be great without starting, but but then we're just saying successful people say no to almost everything, so it's like there's this sort of a balance there, and I think that goes back to what we talked about in the earlier videos of like you need to figure out what your unique design is and what really just like you're passionate about and do that thing with excellence. But get started. Don't just wait around for it to come to you. Got to get started and go and do it with excellence. I think me personally, I've done some things in the last few years, 3 or 4 things that I'm like, probably not excellent, probably like, and now I'm like pulled between those 3 or 4 things, and it's like I'm just average at all those things right now. So it's but if I would have just chose one and I wasn't afraid to get started, but I just did too many things.
And he's talking about business related things. I mean, we opened up a juice shop. You opened up like a little trash can cleaning service, which was super cool. All things that were really cool, but it was like we started a million different things in a season that was very busy for us in the sense of our kids getting older and getting married and entering in a different season. None of it was bad, but it was just that it was too much. And sometimes you have to say no to something. And I think that's where a lot of people, especially in business, find themselves. It's that point of you've got to start, you've got to begin, but there's also that hesitation of like, is it too much? Is it? And knowing when it's okay to stop and pull the plug on it.
Yeah. So I guess the moral is be a self-starter, but choose wisely.
Yes. And it's okay. I think one of the things, especially in business, starting something, just understanding going into it, it is okay to turn it off if it is not what you thought it was going to be, or if it's depleting you. Like it literally is okay. It's okay to say no. That's not failure. I think that's using wisdom. And you've probably learned something in that season of whatever you were doing to help you with whatever's down the road. I mean...
Yeah, and I think excellence is not trying to do too many things with excellence. Excellence is, okay, I've got too many things. I'm going to have to shut some of these off so that I can be excellent at this one.
That's so good. I mean...
I think that's the whole Bob Goff thing. Just quit the things that are not producing joy in your life.
It could have been fun at one time. I mean, if you didn't watch that video, Bob Goff always says, like jokes around like it's okay to quit things. Just say it's Thursday. I can quit things on Thursday. It's okay. And so don't kind of be weighed down by that. So look at those things that you value. And whenever the things, we talked about this and be intentional, whenever the things that you value are not getting into your day, you feel it. It begins to feel very heavy. Faith and family are our top 2 values. And if ever we are doing something and it hinders something with our relationship with the Lord, or if it hinders our time with our children or any of that, then man, like you begin to resent that.
Or each other.
Yeah, or each other. I mean, I include that in family. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you begin to go, wait, I feel the weight and the heaviness of this, and that's when you need to listen to that and course correct. You know, we recently, a couple of years ago, started in a new business, and Jeremiah, the month that we started, got super sick. I mean, like super sick. He was in the hospital for 8 or 9 days. And when he came out, we started doing some health coaching. And there was one of the things that the health coach started talking to us about our sleep. You know, if there's one thing that you can begin to work on, it is getting in bed at a certain time and getting good quality of sleep. And I bet we spent a good year plus just focusing on our sleep. I mean, honestly, I think we're just now at the point where we feel like we have pretty much mastered it and done all the things to like really maximize our sleep, and it is like knocking it out of the park. And we're moving on to other things like nutrition and exercise and all of this and that. But in regards to our sleep, basically, my mind can't ever shut off. And so like I need to be winding down and going to bed at least like 3 hours before I go to bed. I need to have no work. And then like no food 3 hours before bedtime. Usually they say like no work 2 hours before, no food 3 hours before, no blue light. And so all of that to say, because I can't shut my brain down, I really needed to cut work off earlier. And health was something that was of value to us, and especially in that season of going like we need to be more intentional with this. So we had to make some decisions and set some boundaries in our business that we just wouldn't be on nightly Zoom calls, or we wouldn't be on, and that's kind of hard because in your mind, especially in business, you feel like this is the way it's done, this is the way I've done it in the past, or this is the way it's expected, and it's got to look like this. And if I'm not doing it this way, then I'm a horrible leader and I'm this or I'm that. And you might not struggle with that. I struggle with that. And I had to just do a hard cut off. No, I'm drawing a line. I'm not going to do it because this is something that is super important to us. At the end of the day, I don't care how much money I make. If I didn't have my husband with me, he was most important to me. So we were cutting it off. And I feel like, you know, when you can understand what's important to you, it helps you embrace things with excellence and say no to things that are even good, you know?
Yeah.
So think about that and write those things out. The other thing that I kind of hit on it there. In embracing excellence, I want you to understand that your seasons of life are going to change. And whether it's with your parenting or with your marriage or with your relationships or with your business, whatever you are focusing on right here with embracing excellence, your seasons are going to look different. So just like I told you, that season looked different for us. The season looked different, you know, in that situation. It could be the very same way with you. If you are single and have tons of time on your hands that you can, you know, invest in things and do things, but then you get married, have a baby, well, now your time looks a little different than it did a couple of years before. And so embracing excellence, it's hard when you're in the moment now because you know, and you can look back on how you did things and you're like, oh, well, I feel the weight of I'm not doing it like I did it, so I must not be doing it with excellence. Absolutely not. Your season just looks different. And I think, again, especially in business, because we're always changing and we're always, our world and our dynamics are looking different, it's so easy to get caught up in that and weighed down. So I want you to think on that. What does this current season look like for you? I think we talked about that too in the Uniquely Made and the Be Intentional. I asked you to write down what your values, to write down what your day looks like, to write down your time wasters. And, you know, one of the things that we can do to embrace excellence, I say in the book, embracing excellence is like utilizing your gifts and talents with the resources and the time you currently have on hand. That's just embracing excellence. Embracing excellence is, what are my gifts and my talents? Am I utilizing them? Am I utilizing it based on the resources and the time I have on hand? And I believe that is really putting that into practice into your life.
Yeah, I liked what you said about, you know, you might have time that you can give as an investment, or maybe, if your business starts doing well, you might have money that you can put into your business as an investment. And excellence doesn't mean that because you don't have money, you can't do something with excellence. You just have to, whatever season you're in, you have to use the resources that you have to the best that they can be used. That's excellence.
Yeah, I just in some things that we're personally walking through. I was telling the Lord yesterday, or again talking about living a life of worship. I'm like, Lord, whatever I do, wherever I'm at, whatever season I'm in, I am just walking it out in worship to you. No matter if it's how much extra time I have versus I don't have as much time, or resources I have than resources I don't have, where I'm at, what location, what city, whatever. I'm walking it out in worship to you, no matter where that is and what that looks like. And it's so easy to get to tip over into the perfectionism thing and comparing.
Yeah, like we've said, we're going through a little transition period, and it's like the kids are over more, so that means less time. So we've got to find the pockets, when they're going back home or whatever, we run down here and do a video, or, we're gonna go eat dinner, we'll put the video uploading, we're just having to figure it out.
It's funny you say the kids are over more than like when they lived with us. It's like that little season of like last few years of their teenage years at home. I mean, they're always on the go, at a meeting, at a this, at church, at, a friend's house, at whatever. And it's like they get married and they're here and they've got the babies, and it is true. It's like in this season, I have had to say, especially in business, I will tell you, this has been super hard for me because I know what it looks like and how I've worked business in the past. And not at a healthy level, let me say, not at a healthy level. And the older I've gotten, I think the more wisdom you can look back and go, it was good, it was probably a little excessive. And as your kids now have left home and now you've got grandbabies, you look at that dynamic in a different way because you know how fast it goes by. And because family is a value to me, it is a whole lot easier for me to go, my family is getting all of my yeses, to where my business will get my no. To where I feel like growing up, a lot of times my business got my yes and my family got the, hey, hold on one second, I've got to answer this email. Hey, hold on one second, we can't leave, we got to do this. To where now my business is just like, my family is really getting my yeses right now. And that's hard, especially if you're a very driven person in business, because you want to feel the weight of, well, I must not be doing good, or I must not be embracing with excellence. But then that's when you've got to pull back up your values and go, what's most important to me? And that's how I know I am embracing excellence, because my family is absolutely the most important to me.
And I don't want to get ahead of you, but
no, go ahead.
I think, there's some times there when you got to sort of lean on others too. Like,
yes,
I think we used to call it staff your weaknesses, but even staff your time inadequacy. Like let other people run things when you don't have the time. Delegation is super hard, but it's especially in a business environment, you can't just like quit doing business like when you don't have the time. And so you need to have a good structure, a good team in place that can sort of run with the vision, and that will be important when you have less time. You have more resources, but less time.
Yeah. It's a constant kind of evaluating, standing, looking, evaluating, and that is embracing excellence. It's super hard for me to delegate. I'm getting way better at it, I think. But you do, like, it's okay to delegate and hand things off to other people. That is working with excellence. It doesn't mean that you're not working in excellence because you're not the one doing it. You're working in excellence because you realize something needs to be done and you hand it off to someone else to get done. That's huge. And I say in here, Ask the Lord if you find some things that are weaknesses. You know, Lord, send somebody my way that can help in that area to staff that weakness, or to help with that. Ways that I said that you know in here that you can grow in this area of excellence is studying, knowing what you're good at, knowing what your gifts and your talents are, and how can you grow those. Because a lot of times we think to be excellent, we have to look at our weaknesses and go, how can I grow and improve in this area? Like, let's say for instance, like I'm not just an excellent cook. I mean, my brother, he did not have to laugh that hard. Share. My brother got all the cooking genes in our family, but like, you know, it's like if I was just like, I am such a loser, I need to be a better cook. I mean, if I just spent all my waking hours just trying to go grow my cooking skills, but it wasn't something that was like I really cared about, that's wasting time. But like if I know that like, I'm really good in this area, or I'm really efficient in this, or I'm super passionate about this, then investing my time and energy into learning and growing that area, I think is embracing excellence. So again, a good example would be we've been talking about our little bands that we wear and how we've been tracking our health and all of these things. We've been on this huge health kick. You know, spending 2 hours of our time studying about some of these things versus the 2 hours of trying to go, you know, learn how to cross stitch because I can't cross stitch. I don't know. Like, it's okay. Don't look at the things that you like.
I actually really love this one because I think we do that. We're like, we look at our gifts and our talents or our personalities, and we tend to see the negatives of those things, and we're like, oh, we got to fix that.
Yes.
Not necessarily. Like, I think, you know, there's cases where like you're a bad person, you need to fix that. But you know, we
You're
see
not a bad person.
You know, her personality, let's take for example, is like leadership, visionary, but also that person can be like, you know, bossy and you know, we'll leave it at that. And so
thanks for not getting any worse than that.
You know, you could tend to see that as a negative and be like, oh my gosh, I've got to do all this stuff to like, you know, fix my personality. But no, that and that goes back to uniquely made. Like, you are uniquely made that way to lead and to have a vision. Yeah. And so, and do those things. My personality is not that. My personality is to like analyze and do a process and help. And so I could go, oh gosh, you know,
I got to go have a vision.
I got to learn how to become a public speaker. I got to take classes on becoming a public speaker. No, that's a waste of time. I don't need to do that. Like, I need to do what I am gifted at and what I'm uniquely made at. And then the same thing with, you know, what you were talking about in there is like, you know, whatever things you're not good at, like, for instance, you don't like the process and the details, but we have each other. And I don't care to be the public speaker, but we have each other. And so find someone, you know, and like she was saying, if you don't have someone, pray for someone, but find someone that in your business, in your whatever that you're doing, whatever your endeavor is, find someone that can sort of balance you and your strengths or each other's weaknesses. It really works well.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times in business that I have watched people, it's painful to watch them trying to be somebody they're not because they think they've seen somebody else walk it out a certain way and that looks like excellence to them. And they try doing it and they're just miserable. They're miserable with it because it's not who they are. It might be excellence for this person, but it's not going to be excellent for you because it's just not how you are uniquely made. And that, seriously, it's painful to watch that. And you just want to go, quit. Just be yourself. Do it your way. You know. And
you almost see you're like, you're so good at this. Why don't you do that thing?
Yes, like it's what you like thrive in this area. You know, man, it's like we would make this analogy in business is that like John Maxwell has this analogy. I think we actually talk about it, or maybe we've already talked about it in another chapter. But I didn't talk about it in the video. But he talks about if you want to be great and you want to tackle something, like let's give an analogy of a tree, and you want to chop this tree down. Well, what you're going to do is you're going to go pick up an axe and you're going to go chop, 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 and you could chop all day, but you're going to exhaust yourself. Right? You're going to exhaust yourself. But if you just pick up that axe and you go and chop it 5 times and put the axe down, and then the next day you get up and chop 5 times and put the axe down, and then the next day you get up and you chop 5 times and you put the axe down, then eventually the tree's going to fall. And what I have seen in business is a lot of times people pick up the axe and they chop, 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 chop. They might not exhaust themselves. They may just do it that chop, 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 chop. But about week number 2 or month number 2, that tree's not falling down, and they go, oh, I must be chopping in the wrong place. This is all wrong. So I'm watching this person over here that's just wrote this book, and this is the way it should be done. So now they go start chopping up here. And they do that for a while, and then they go attend a retreat or an event, and they're like, no, this person says to do it this way because this looks excellent. So then they go chop, 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 chop. Well, now they just butchered up a tree. To where if they could just stick with this one thing that they're good at in their lane and just chop away at it and not get sidetracked with all the other places that people are chopping that's excellent in their way. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And so stay true, all of that to stay true to who you are and your unique gifts and talents, and really in the season and the place that you're at. Do you have anything you want to?
No, let's go.
Okay, go. Okay, the verse that I want you to memorize and meditate on is John 15:5. I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. Think on that verse and rest in that verse. That is embracing excellence. Just doing what we can do, abiding in Him, and let Him work through us and provide that fruit. Anything else you want to say before I give the? He's ready to end this sucker. Okay. Find a mentor or find some people that can speak into your life, or that you see that maybe does things kind of the way you are uniquely made, and how can you incorporate those things into your life. Think about the things that you're passionate about alongside of your gifts and talents, and make sure to just kind of develop those in your life. Okay, he's like, Monique, you're at 27 minutes.
And the sun's coming in.
Oh, and the sun's coming in. Lord help us. He's going to take over. He's going to end this sucker.
All right. If you like this video, or if you just didn't hate it, give us a thumbs up. Please, we need it apparently. And subscribe to our channel. It really helps us. Tell some friends. They might want to see this as well. And if you want to be like me and know when that video is going to hit the notification bell.
Ding, ding, ding.
And you will be in the know.
Okay. We're ending this sucker because Jeremiah said, you're done, Monique. So anyway.
Hey,
okay.
I'm the process person. I got to keep this thing running. Good.
Okay. All right. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And we're going to see you back tomorrow, where we talk about perfectionism weighs you down. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. See ya.